live from Los Angeles. I am so honored for today's live. We are live across the globe, you guys. We are everywhere. We are on Instagram. We are on Facebook. We are on Twitch. We're on Twitter. We are on Roku. We are on Apple TV. We are global with truth today, and it's going to be an epic show today. And it is a show. We are going to come together in knowing the truth. We are talking about what is our future, and that is the real question that all of us need to be asking ourselves, individually, collectively, and globally. So today we're going to be diving into the truth. Am I enough? And we're going to be diving into an incredible little short film on a letter from the virus, from COVID. Imagine that the virus is able to write a letter to humans, and that's what we're going to actually take a look at, an incredible little mini documentary on it. And then also I'm going to interview Sean Henricks, who is created the mini documentary short film on that, traveling around the world and getting into the concept and the conversation around the sentient beings, animals, and knowing that they are spiritual beings as well as us. We are one family on this globe, and we have to ask, what is our future? Knowing the cause and effect that if we don't take care of our family and we kill off and extinguish the life force on this planet, we will in turn kill off ourselves, and that's exactly what's going on. So we're going to interview him as well, and if you are on certain platforms, you will not be able to see the mini documentary short film, and you will not be able to see the interview. So I highly recommend going over to Facebook, on YouTube, on one of the platforms, Apple, Roku, wherever it is, you can actually see that. But first, we're going to know the truth. So let's do this, you guys. Let's take a deep breath in through the nose, as we do each morning to get our mind right, connecting the right and left hemisphere, breathing in and exhaling out. I recognize right here and right now the power that be, the power that I am, the power that you are. I recognize right here and right now everything is good. Everything is good. I recognize that there is something within you and me that knows the truth, that we are one, that we are all this one big family together. I know today is a divine day to know the truth, who we are. I say yes to today. I say yes to the beautiful sentient beings that are on this planet. I say yes to our oneness, our greatness, our goodness. I know the truth that as we use this cause and effect to harm anything on this planet, we in turn harm ourselves. And in this truth, I know that I choose harmony. I choose the future of our oneness, of to create oneness and harmony with all life, sentient beings, all in this universe and beyond. I know the truth of who we are. I know the power that be, and I say yes to all the incredible workers on this planet, people that are bringing truth to the world, bringing consciousness, bringing our oneness together, through the nurses, through the doctors, through the film, people, through media, through all the people that have good intention. I say yes to love, yes to harmony, as together we say, and so it is. Okay, it is interesting. This technology, I have to say, you guys, it's very fascinating to watch and learn and grow. I've been diving so into all the technology. I know that globally around the world, we are having and being demanded to do things we've never done before, one of which is technology. I've spent so much time with the producers, with myself, learning all these technologies, and I say to all of us out there, it's time to innovate, it's time to grow, individually, collectively, and all above, knowing that we can do this. We can survive, we can thrive, we can. There's answers, there's innovations, there's technologies. And so today we have to ask the question, are we enough? Are we enough? And that really is the question. And as I work with so many clients around the world, and I train and develop spiritual leaders and coaches and bringing spiritual distinctions into their personal and professional life, we have to ask, are we enough? And it's a question I used to ask myself for years. Am I enough? It was one of the commands through the trauma that I had gone through. I recognized that one of the decisions I had made was that I'm not enough. I must not be enough. I must not be enough for my dad and my mom to get a divorce. I must not be enough to not be worthy of love. I must not be enough for X, Y, and Z to be as good as the women on the magazine covers. I must not be enough, right? And when I began to really heal myself and recognize I am enough, a profound thing happened one day. I'll never forget it. I actually realized that I'm not enough. That individually, I'm not enough. That I'm only enough when I rise in the occasion in all relationship, when I rise in my ability and use my energy for good. I'm not enough without you. I'm not enough without community. I'm not enough without making a difference on this planet. I truly believe that it is our obligation, that it is our responsibility to do and work for the highest good. And so today is a conversation about that. Are we enough? And then that goes into another deeper question of, are we enough? And it is, are we enough? Is the coronavirus enough to have us wake up? Is the virus, is the pandemic, is everything we're going through enough to actually have us wake up to the truth of who we are and take action? So today I'm actually showcasing through KNEKT TV, and Kent, thank you very much, and Sean Henricks, of going deeper into this conversation. Deeper into the conversation is, are we enough, and what is our future? And I actually invite each and every one of you to go to extinctionendshere.org. They're raising awareness, raising capital to help, and there's all kinds of things going on right now. There's poachers right now doing a lot of harm on this planet. It's time for us to awaken, and I know it's a counterintuitive thing. It's like, how can I help someone else when I can barely survive myself? It's actually the law of the universe states that what we want, we actually have to give. So if you want to survive, you've got to help others survive. If you want money, you've got to give money and give value to be able to receive money. If you want love, it's not about getting love, it's about giving love. And so I know as a doctor of divinity that we teach universal law, we teach the metaphysics, we teach, how epigenetics and how all this quantum physics and everything is aligning up to know the truth of who we are. And so it's a total honor today as we dive into this. So if you're on Instagram, you will not be able to see this short, but if you are on the other platforms, I know you're going to truly enjoy this 3-minute short film documentary on a letter from the virus. Imagine COVID writes you a letter and writes a letter to human beings. So stay tuned. That we all have had responsibility in. And we can easily point the finger. We can easily say what's wrong with the world, and we can easily measure the destruction that we've had and the cause and effect of the choices that we've made globally and individually. But now we want to get to the conversation of, what now? What do we do? And so I'm so honored to have this gentleman here today. I want to introduce him. He's somebody that truly has this heart on the pulse of what it means to be one with the universe, one with animals, one with Mother Earth. And this is the conversation that is near and dear to all of our heart. What now? How do we deal with this? What are possible ways that we can make better choices for ourselves and create a new world that we can all thrive in, including the animals? So I want to introduce Sean Henricks, who is an Emmy Award-winning cinematographer. He's a photographer, scuba diver,
marine conservationist. I can't say that. How do you say that? He's an independent filmmaker. He's a founder of Blue Sphere Media. He's worked with so many different people, from CNN's Anderson Cooper to National Geographic, you name it. He has been with the big boys in the industry. Basically, you would go to him to say, we want to make a campaign for the good, and you'd hire him to have him come out and begin to showcase what it means to have a positive impact in the world and showcase what is not a positive impact in the world. So, Sean, thank you so much for all the work that you've done around the globe. It's an honor to be with you and your little fishies behind you.
Thank you so much. And I'm super excited to be here today.
Do you want to tell the audience a little bit more about yourself, because that did not totally do it justice? Do you want to go a little bit further about what you do and how you got into what you're doing?
Absolutely. I think more than anything, I'm a person who grew up their entire life with a very deep knowing of our inextricable connection with nature. People often talk about being apart from nature, and for me, it's absolutely clear that we are intimately a part of nature. And it is that connection that binds all beings in this universe. It defines our course and our path, and the decisions we make and how we show up for ourselves and how we show up for others and all beings is really defining how our experience on this planet is unfolding. My work has been really to give a voice to the voiceless. We have about now growing 8 billion people on the planet, and we're all clamoring to make ourselves be heard. And we have our needs, and we have our wants, and we want to consume, and all the things that somehow make our lives richer. But we forget there's the rest of all these other sentient beings on the planet, from the tiniest little grasshopper to the great whales. And they never have a place at the table. Their voice is not heard, and as a result, they're marginalized, just like communities get marginalized. And in this case, they're marginalized to the degree that they have become grossly exploited, violently and tragically exploited, to the tune of losing half of all species on Earth by the end of this century. We are at war with biodiversity. And if you think about the two things that make a system resilient, it is the abundance and the diversity of species in that system that prevent it from falling to things such as plagues. And in this case, we're seeing the consequences of our lack of connection. I think people say, you know, how do we show people how we're connected? Well, I think one of the unexpected things from this pandemic is we feel more connected than we've ever felt before. Mm-hmm. Something dropped on the other side of the world, and it has rippled across the entire planet, affecting billions of people across the planet. And not just billions of people, we're talking about what now estimates will place about $10 trillion in economic loss as a result. Billions of people in sheltered at home scenarios, millions of people falling ill, and hundreds of thousands of people are going to die, all from a singular decision to allow the exploitation of wildlife in a way that we knew was wrong, but we kept it going. And so that decision led.
So let me dive into this, okay?
Yeah.
Because I know that you know so much about the reality that we're sitting in, okay? And that is something that is important for people to understand. And I think that you've done so much work to showcase that. But I want to actually take this even further in this conversation today. I want to know, because your mind is thinking of, how do I protect, Mother Earth? How do I protect these sentient beings? So now what? We are where we are, right? And we have to accept it is what it is. And I don't want to cut you off, but at the same time, I want the world to begin to say, now what? Now, and you have this voice and this heart that is speaking for that voice. Please tell me, what do you see? What can we do? Obviously, there's a zillion things we can do as far as, buying, products that aren't toxic, that aren't putting waste into the ocean. But really and truly, like when you go, what is realistic? What can somebody like I do, or somebody that's individual in their house, versus somebody who is, politician put in place? I know that you have the mind to think like this. So I'm dying to know how you see what we can actually do today to take action.
All right, let's dive right into the deep end then. Okay. So springboarding off the connectivity that the virus has given us, I believe let's back up a moment. I've spent time in the world, all over the world, swimming, looking eye to eye with great humpback whales. I've had these magnificent manta rays that are 20, 25 feet across, hovering over me with their eyes piercing into my soul. I've been in the jungles of Papua. I've traveled the world, looked into the eyes of these animals, and something that I've realized is there's a sentience and there's an intelligence there and there's a spirit there, just like every other being on this planet. I've played with a clownfish that has been friends for 10 years with one diver. They have a personal relationship. But people think of things as just fish. And so what I've come to realize is something that in our hearts we knew as children to be true. There is a deeper intelligence. There's a deeper soul and spirit out there that we're all a part of, every single one of us. And because of the trappings of modern society, we have come to believe that we're separate. So where can we go from here? To me, it's less about the actions immediately and more about what we do in the internal process. And I've looked at a lot of animals and I'm like, well, what do human beings bring to this system that other animals don't? Because in many ways, other animals don't build shopping malls and build highways and cut down forests. They live in synchronicity. So what are we bringing? Well, other than acting like a fire that rips through the jungle, burns everything to the ground, and then hopefully it recovers, which honestly our species tends to behave mostly like, there's something else about us that is incredibly beautiful. And it's our capacity for abstract empathy. Global empathy. I can weep for an animal I've never met. I can stand in defense of a forest I've never been to and I might never go to. And I can feel that. That ability for us to feel empathy for something that never has touched our lives in a physical way is incredibly unique that I've seen to our species. Largely because of the way we've evolved and the fact that we have also this technology that enables that connection. And perhaps if elephants had the internet, they might be able to do it too. But they don't.
So what I'm hearing, and just to kind of stay this back, because what I'm hearing is, and I love this so much, what I'm hearing is that we can do a lot of things, but what's even more important, and I preach this all the time, it's about in the truth of our oneness, it awakens people to take inspired action that may be unique for them. And what I'm hearing from you is that, and why I think you're probably so driven in the work that you do, is it's in showcasing that suffering. It's in showcasing and showing that this is an actual sentient spiritual oneness. This the same spirit that's in this one animal lives as all of us, that oneness. And when we recognize that, when we even see that, that could be the one thing to do, is to actually just have people witness that. And in witnessing that, they will naturally want to make new choices. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Precisely.
Yeah.
You know, we have a habit of objectifying things we don't understand or things we want to exploit. And objectification has been used in slavery. It's been used in all kinds of abuse. And it continues to be abused with animals and forests and natural resources. Resources, even the word, right? But when something has a spirit that you connect with, when it has a name and it has a personality, that changes everything for you. And what I have come to realize is if people can feel, not think, because the mind follows the heart. If people really are able to tune in and feel that deep connection that we have with these other beings and expand our empathy, not just to our own personal lives, not just to our immediate family, but beyond that to others and other species, everything becomes possible because now you're showing up for it in a way that you're seeking to support it versus being told you have to not do something. You are tuning into the reality, and just like you don't have to be told to protect your children or your loved ones, if someone's kicking in the door, you hold that door closed, right? You defend it. No one has to tell you to do that. If you feel that same connection for these other beings and that empathy, you will choose to stand in their defense.
That's what I love about your work. There's a lot of documentaries, you will, on kind of the disgusting aspect of the, meat industry and different things. And I love that you've shown also just the beauty that we are so out of touch with. We really are. So how can somebody get more in touch with that? Maybe they can show something to their child or something and begin to have a relationship, even though they're not necessarily physically with the animals. How can they really begin to relate? Because it's quite frankly like the coronavirus. If it's not somebody that's died in your immediate family, it's almost hard to even think it's real, So how do we even put a realness to the animals so that we can connect at some level?
I think that's where the age-old art of storytelling and art come into place. Art transcends culture. Art sparks emotions that get past that really frontal developed brain, and it goes straight to our heart. You see something beautiful. There's something inside of you that connects with it immediately, and it's not rational. There's something on the spiritual level. And I believe by harnessing the power of art, which is imagery and film and things like that as well, and storytelling, when you bring the age-old art, which lineages have been strung together through that storytelling, and you connect it with the art that really brings forth what I believe is the spirit and essence of these beings. The combination of those two create an incredible weapon of mass construction. It's something that brings us together, unifies us, and whether or not we actually met that animal in person, we start to fall in love with it, and we start to see it as a spiritual, sentient being, as we are.
Totally. So I have to ask you the hard question, the tough question, okay? In the short film, I guess is what I call it, Extinction Ends Here.
Yeah.
You asked and posed the question, am I enough? Meaning that human beings, we're seeing we've done enough destruction on the planet. We are now seeing the cause and effect. We're dying. We're going to die off because of what we've caused. And the question that you pose is, am I enough? Is the virus enough to give us a wake-up call to make the right choices? And what I'm just curious to know, do you think it's enough?
Wow, depends on the mood I'm in, right? But one of the things I know is there's a moments of grace in history when things seem impossible. And as I think Einstein was the one who said it, no problem today will ever be solved with the same level of consciousness that created it. There's these moments of grace where consciousness takes a jump. Mm. And there's a catalyst. There's that moment, the spark is lit. And suddenly we step outside of the realm that we've been operating in. We move into a whole new realm. And then everything becomes possible. I feel like if there were ever a moment in my life, there's ever been a moment in my life, it's not this month, it's right now. It's happening right this moment as we're speaking, right this second. That possibility is opening up, and I don't know how long that door stays open. And either humanity, our species, tunes into it and takes what is considered a horrific pandemic and embraces it as also a beautiful opportunity to feel our connectedness, not just with each other, but literally how connected we are with the treatment of this planet. The life support system is crying out right now, can you hear me? And is it enough? I think we're going to answer that question in the next few weeks. We're going to answer that question. My hope is that we have learned a very hard lesson, but more importantly, not just from a threat standpoint, suddenly in those quiet moments, we started to feel something we had lost. We started to feel connections with our family that weren't so vibrant as they used to be, and now they're coming back. Slowing down, breathing air. Air starts to taste better, right? Sunshine means more because it's another day that the Holocaust hasn't hit. So my hope is that we step in. I'm not a forecaster. We're going to answer that question. 8 billion, almost 8 billion people are going to answer that question in the next few weeks. And with that answer, it's going to become either a very beautiful course, or we're going to race back to our consuming fossil fuel addiction. And this will not be the last shot across the bow. In fact, this may be the gentlest we ever get.
It's interesting that you say that, because I heard something yesterday that Range Rover has stopped, and don't quote me on this because I don't have facts on it, but I heard they stopped production, and they're not going to be doing production the rest of the year. And I think that they were planning on going to hybrid vehicles, and maybe this is the time that these companies are looking at. They have to take the leap anyway to get to the laws that are coming into effect anyway. So hopefully there will be some things, but I think we have a long way to go. But I truly believe, Sean, that your work which is really divine work. You know, you are a minister showing through the work of showcasing the voice for the animals and for the planet. And so I truly believe that this work is the best work on the planet, because it really is in the awakening to our oneness that it awakens our choices for harmony. So thank you so much for every single thing that you do. It's so beautiful. Tell everyone where they can see your work, how they can find out more about you, and everything.
Brilliant. And thank you so much for that. In all humility, I really think of myself as a conduit. And the more I silence my ego, the more the truth just flows through me. And so my work is to disappear from that equation and just let the truth and the work flow through, because it flows through all of us. I just happen to have a voice for it. And hopefully that voice raises a lot of other voices. In terms of following the work, we just launched a massive global campaign, extinctionendshere.org. And it is trying to get 1 million people to sign up to say, we no longer accept the status quo in our treatment of wildlife. And we are calling for a ban in these markets and this trade. We're calling for it to end right now. It's a great place to see it. I am part of a global collective called Sea Legacy, sealegacy.org. And you can find a lot of our work up there. And you can also check out my work.
Can they donate, or can they volunteer, or how else can they get involved?
Especially in a time like this, we are pulling pieces together to make these campaigns work. So financial support does mean a lot right now. And do I have like 30 more seconds here?
Of course, yes.
Right now, the marine protected areas in the forests of the earth are being hammered by poachers because there's no guards. It's one of the most unseen consequences on how, basically, when people are on lockdown and there's no tourists. The sacred forests, the ancient rivers, the beautiful marine reserves are being hammered. And we need to put a spotlight on that, and we need to support the communities that are charged with protecting them. So do we need support more than ever right now? You can donate at sealegacy.org. And also, if you want to follow my work directly, you can also see me at Sean Heinrichs on Instagram. And we're always posting both the positive, the challenges, but really inspired ways that you can get involved.
Amazing. And then you also are showcasing your work on KNEKT TV, so you guys can find some of the work there as well. We're so honored to, learn more about you, and just have you're doing so much great work for the planet and for our oneness. So thank you so much. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. And thank you again from the bottom of my heart and from the bottom of so many people's heart. Okay. Have a beautiful day. Thanks, you guys. Have a beautiful day.
Amazing. Thank you, Sean. Incredible work, you guys. So you can go to extinctionendshere.org and you can get involved. I actually just put, they have a little thing for your Facebook profile you can put around it. Extinction Ends Here. Right now, right here, it's time, you guys. Our cause and effect. And so today I want to get into the law of the day, which is universal law of cause and effect. And we understand that today is all, like every day, we have to understand how to align with universal law and how to get our mind right in all of this work that we're doing. So I just want to read about universal law for a second, what that is exactly. So the law of cause and effect, and we understand it's basically how we create. The universal law is understanding the physics and how we use our mind, how it works, okay? So we want to begin to understand this. So the law of cause and effect is, for every effect there is a cause, and it is spirit. It's the higher self. It's consciousness. It's what's creating through the divine mind, going through our beliefs, through our feelings, through our thoughts, which cause all the circumstances of our life. And of course, has a cause and effect, can be positive or negative. And we're seeing part of that negative right now. So this is the triune nature of the creative process, the unfoldment of thought through the law, which is it creates through every single cell. It creates through our subconscious mind. It creates through the divine mind. And this law responds in direct proportion to our beliefs. And our belief is what is our individual, our collective, and our cosmic belief. It's what we be and live. It is the cause and effect. Your experience of life changes the degree to which you change your core beliefs and thinking. And that is really, truly what Sean and that organization, so many great minds, are doing. We're trying to change the belief, understand our oneness. And when we awaken to our oneness, we awaken to our greatness. So let's just take one nice deep breath in together, you guys, as we go into our day, taking a deep breath in through the nose, expanding our mind, connecting with the infinite, the finite, all into all sentient beings, Mother Earth, and our greatness. And so in this, I say today is the day to wake up to wake up to our oneness, to wake up and say, what can I do? And whatever it is that I want, I've got to give that away. If I want life, I actually have to choose to give life and help life. That is the experience, the perfect cause and effect of this life. And so I say yes to all of it. I say yes to all of it. I say yes to you. I say yes to me. I say yes. So if you're the first time on this stream, I'm Dr. Erin. I'm a doctor of divinity. I am a New Thought minister, actually, and I'm a best-selling author, transformational speaker. I am the founder of Good Morning La La Land and the Dr. Erin Show, along with Soul Society, where we train and develop people in their personal and professional life to align with spiritual distinctions, in their oneness and in their greatness. You can check all this out across all social media, on Facebook, Instagram. We're actually just part of it's on Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, Twitter, all the above. We're also on Apple TV, iOS. We are going to be taking this into the podcast as well. Roku, all the above, you guys. Have a beautiful day, and may you live your truth.